Hello and welcome back to Factorio Tightening the Belt Megabase Guide. I'm Xterminator and thank you for joining me here again. So I've set up these smelters. I've left out this secondary copper one the same way I did for this just because we don't need it yet, and it saved me some time and materials to not set it up right now. But we have these lines running, so I've set up, like I said, the 2 iron, these 2 copper, which are going into these circuits. I've done about half the build because this isn't going to consume this entire build quite yet. And I'm really liking how this looks. Just these lines of belts here going down. It's looking pretty cool. So we now have these circuits, which is awesome because we can now we can connect them up and be good to go. We will have to run the sulfuric acid over, but that's fine. That can when we do that, I can talk about some other stuff. So also I want to cover, because someone asked, and it was a very good question. They said they were surprised that I wasn't directly inserting green circuits into blue circuits because they are the 1-to-1 ratio, as I mentioned last episode. And honestly, the only reason for me not doing direct insertion is because we already had this build like blueprinted here, and I kind of already had it planned and stuff, and I just wanted to do it this way. There's absolutely nothing wrong with direct inserting for green circuits to blue circuits. In fact, it can be quite good. I did that on my last map and it worked really well. So that's definitely an option. You know, there's many different ways you could do it, which could be interesting. So getting that figured out could be pretty good. It really would just be as simple as, having a circuit machine here and then having 2 cable machines, like literally just this, but lining up with these to direct insert. But we're going to do a little differently this time. It would save probably on belt because we wouldn't have this huge thing of belt here, but we'll work with it. So I'm going to actually have, I think I'm going to have output here and then input here. So let's get some inserters here for this input, these green circuits. We'll get that going. And you guys pointed out a few little mistakes I made with some of my building it last episode. So thank you for that, because I probably would not have noticed until it was a big problem. So I do appreciate you guys pointing that out, because man, it always surprises me like how observant the viewers are. It's crazy. You guys see all kind of stuff that I wouldn't. And then we need long-handed over here. I forgot about that. So here, actually, let's pair them up just like these guys, and then like that. So this will just be the red circuits that'll come in here, and the greens can now come over. I think one of these belts is actually going to line like straight with one of these. Not quite. Alright, so you can come over and go here. And then it would be nice if this one could just jog up one as well, because that would look better than having it, having it like go up one. And it looks like that's exactly what it's going to do, which is perfect. So there we go. That's not too bad. There's that, and then we will need some more belt and such. Let's throw some power poles down while we're over here, though. I think just pretty simple ones like this should work nicely. And we'll just mirror it on this side. Yep. Boom and boom. There we go. It's not hooked up yet. We could hook it up, I suppose. Let's just bring you like right there. So that's going to take all the circuits. It's going to just nom them down. And we need to run over and just get some more belt. I used up all the belt I had building the ore belts down to the furnaces. And then we also need to run some pipe. So I had underground pipe. Let's we could actually start running the pipe down. I'm just gonna grab like all of it because this is a fair distance. Oh, and I hit this with my car. Luckily I wasn't going any faster, because that's like that's 250 mining drills that would have just been vanished, blown to little bits if I hit that hard enough with my car. So let's just grab some belt here. And what else? I needed something else while I was over here. I already forgot what it was. But one thing we need to do is, you guys did mention that I had not sideloaded these batteries, which is a good point, because now I have a full lane of batteries. Oh wait, no I don't. No, why do I only have half a lane? Now this is only half a lane because, well that was, oh no. No, I'm just an idiot, apparently. For some reason I thought that like these were only on half of a lane, like from the start, but it's because some throughput was blocked. So I thought I was super smart doing this. I wasn't. What was this merging with? Those are batteries. Why the hell do I have batteries on a line for... Wait, what? Oh no, that's for that. It needs to be this. Sorry. Okay, so the batteries we're going to share with... What were they sharing with again? I believe I was going to share them with... Well, really either thing. Either processing units or whatchamathings. Well, actually, why couldn't this be a full line? Because we could just share the processing unit and speed module belt, right? Probably excessive to have this be a full line, but yeah, that's actually not a problem then, right? Because we can just have the processing units like come over here, and then these guys can just jog over this way. Let's make some more of these. And then this can just come up and like merge. Like that. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, and then blue circuits will come from over here. Alright, so now we just need to bring the sulfuric acid pipe over. I really need an exoskeleton. We're so close, guys. I think we can probably get 40 processing units in this episode, to be honest. Then we can make a power armor. We won't be able to make any fusion reactors, because we don't even have it researched. That does require yellow science. But we'll at least have a power armor. And I did say we're going to go over chests, logistics chests this episode, which we will do. I just need to plug in these blue circuits so we can get them running. And then we'll... logistics chests, though, we don't actually have all of them unlocked, and we will need yellow science for that. Now this... What was this missing? Copper? Great. Suppose while I'm up here, should probably get some stuff. We're really close to being able to do this with robots. I'm just going to fill up my inventory. And actually, let's get rid of all this, too. Because that is a lot of stuff I don't need. Alright, so let's run up here, dump some of this in, like 2 stacks per, and see how much we have left. That's good, because I do want, obviously, some in my inventory. And we'll throw some in there. And that's probably good. Okay, so these guys are full up. Let's come off of this one. And how do we want to do this? Going across this way would be potentially interesting. We could run it across here. That may interfere with belts, although I kind of doubt it. We could run it actually from this direction down and along here, but that's not great either. Actually, running it this way may be better. We could run it along like the gear belt, and then it's like right there. That's actually perfect. Okay, yeah, let's run it along this gear belt. We do want to make sure we leave room for the secondary gear belt. Oh, darn it. So close. Alright, let's see. So he's going to come over. I prefer for this to not go over the copper patch, so we're going to do that. And again, I'm going to hook up my corner pipes here, just so I don't have to walk all the way back here, and it would help if I hooked it up here too. I'm glad I noticed that. Also, I do need a radar at my science. I said that I don't know how many times, but I was reminded again in the comments, so hopefully this time I remember. I'll try to keep it in the back of my mind. I have a habit of just like instantly forgetting that I need to do something. It's I think it's because like I don't really register it initially. So I'm like, oh, I need a radar. And then, like, I'm not actually considering that I need a radar, so then it just, like, leaves my brain and I forget. So let's run this. Yeah, he's gonna go this way. Grab that. And this is a very long pipe, but again, this takes a very minimal amount of sulfuric acid. I mean, these guys take 5, and, you know, every recipe we're making 50. So that's quite a lot that we're making in regards to how much we're consuming. So another gear belt is going to be next to this. I'm just going to do that so we don't put our pipe right where we want our belt. And I'm going to leave another space here too, just because it would be really good. And that's actually perfect. Wow, that worked out well. So let's run him down like that. And then we can just walk and hold and drag. Bring this down. Please don't mess me up on the belt. Sometimes when you walk over the belt there, it'll jock you over one from riding on the belt. Oh my god. Look how perfect this is, guys. Check this out. I mean, obviously when we expand, this will be in the middle, but that's totally fine. So that's actually, like, absolutely perfect. Now, in terms of how we're getting it to this side, I'm just going to do this for now. And this is going to be a little wonky, but I think it's totally fine. Like I said, such a minimal amount of acid. It's really not a problem. So then now we just need red circuits. And I think what I'm going to do is we're just going to, like, bring this, like, here. And he's going to come over, underground, and like that. And then the red circuits, for now, we'll just split off this. Again, we will have another red circuit build, but that's a little ways down the road. So let's just get this, make a splitter, a couple of them. And let's see, line this up. Cool. Is this tree going to be in the way? It will not. Fantastic. This one will be, though. Of course it will. And there we go. So that's red circuits. This will output some blue circuits, and we'll just combine these. I'm going to bring it down a bit just so we can expand the build if we need to. Well, we will need to, when we need to, without me having to, like, pick up the thing and move it again. So we're just going to do that. Combine it down here, and this should work good. So we're just going to have one output belt. That's literally just to combine it. And then these guys should be running, which is awesome. How is our power, by the way? Our power's okay. So he's gonna come over, and how are we doing this? So, why do I have all these so close to each other? It's not really what I want. Oh, this was supposed to be more iron, right? So this one, everything kind of needs to jog over. All right, I want to make sure I leave myself enough room. So actually, if this is the other iron, this actually needs to be steel. I'm not gonna move it right now, but that needs to be one steel. This needs to be the other steel, and then we need 2 gears, and that would be 4. So then we want to leave 2 spaces again, right, for our undergrounds. So this one needs to be here. Now blue circuits, it may make more sense to put it with red circuits. In fact, maybe it should just go with red circuits. Well, it will. It's just that red circuits are in the wrong spot because all this needs to move over. But that's fine. Actually, no. So red circuits would actually be here, and then blue circuits could go right next to it. Would we have 2 belts of red circuits? We may. So let's move it over one more. Gotta leave yourself enough space. Now this doesn't look like much, and it's not, but it'll add up. It'll get there. Well, I want to see first if that build can even be supplied, and if it can, then we're going to expand it. But, you know, it's kind of pointless to build out a big build if we can't even supply this little one. And this guy's going to come over, and he needs to go way down there and merge. And then we should have yellow science, which is awesome. And I think the first thing we will get is the logistics. The fusion reactor is quite expensive. Logistics, I don't think, are as expensive. We'll have to check. And some power for this would now be good. I didn't even do power poles, did I? Darn it. All right. I guess we'll just kind of something like that. I mean, these aren't the same as that, but those line up there, which is kind of what I wanted anyways. So we're gonna do that, and then this. This is unfortunate. Can we, no, can't do that. This is really unfortunate. Well, this works better. I'd like the other one to do the same. Can this one do the same, please? Yeah, we're just gonna do like... Okay, so it's 1 plus 3 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, okay, there. We'll just do that. So there's that, and it looks kind of wonky, the power poles, but that's fine. Connect him up, and things are coming along. I mean, this is the end of science, guys. Like, this is a big milestone. This is the end of science aside from the space science for the rocket. So this is a pretty huge accomplishment in my mind. Getting the last science done by episode 17 is not too bad. I actually thought it would take a lot longer. Now, of course, there's still a lot to do, but, you know, expand stuff so more stuff can run better. But this should still work. And let's check. Can we map view over this? Kind of. Greens are keeping up. So we probably could add more. And I'm going to snag some of these before they get there and get eaten up. I'm going to snag 40 of them. Okay, I'm going to just drop one. And here we go. So we need this and then steel, which should be right up here. And there we go. We can now make a power armor. Fantastic. And I'm going to ditch this junk. Well, at least this power armor. Or this modular armor. And then we just need... Okay, so we need a splitter down here to use the priority thing to pull off what we want. Or not. Wait, oh, this was sharing with the batteries. I know you guys are probably yelling at me this whole time. You're like, Sturm, you idiot. This needed to be with the yellow packs. Alright, let's, oh dear. We're gonna clean this up. We're gonna eat all the batteries. And we're gonna have to put some back. Actually, I'm just gonna stick them in a chest. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna purge this. This is really bad. Okay, so... Whoops. So this needs to merge on the inside, like that, which is kind of wonky. We'll probably do it better later. But that's going to do that, and then down here, I'm just going to stick a box, rather than me like feeding them to the machines or trying to drop them in here. I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to dump all the batteries, and then they'll go like that. So these will now output over here, and we can just get a splitter, and this actually needs to come over. I'm going to bring it out like there, because we don't want to pull or grab from the splitter. And we're going to say output priority left only this. Clear that, and we'll just not pull from this at all. And there we go. We now have yellow packs, which are going to come up and merge with the purples, which are right there. So I'm gonna bring this up again, leave a little bit of room there, merge right onto the purple belt, and we should be good to go. Dump a few of these little batteries in here. And they are missing processing units. We probably really need to expand that. Let's actually look. What is the ratio? These require, we're consuming them at a rate of 3 per second. It's a lot. It's actually massive. Our build is nowhere near big enough for this. Because we're consuming them at a rate of 3 per second, and these things take 10 seconds. So for 1 a second, we would need 10 of these. We would need 30 machines making blue circuits just for the yellow science. It's a lot. I don't think we can support that much. But we'll do what we can. We can go expand that build, and let's actually exchange out our armor. So this power armor now, that's not the power armor. This is the power armor. You can see this grid is quite a lot bigger, and you could fit a fusion reactor in here if we had it unlocked. I'm going to put these back because I would like some night vision, but I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to drop these on here. Z again to do that. You can just hold it as well instead of like tapping it like that. And those are going to go up, which is fantastic. And that should do it. So logistics system is what we want first. And this is not too expensive. It's 150, which you'd be surprised how quick we can actually get that. It'll start once those packs get up there. Let's go ahead and let's grab some more materials and go expand that blue circuit build just a little bit, because that is pretty pathetic. So we're gonna grab some belt. We have assemblers. Yeah, we should probably grab some more assemblers though, just because. I'm gonna grab some, I'm just gonna like eat everything on here. Some iron. And then assemblers. So we're gonna get that. So the chests. We can start explaining some of the chests on our way up there. So you have a logistics chest. I explained the roboports last episode, and it didn't seem like anybody had questions or anything, so I'm not gonna cover those any more necessarily. But kind of just as a conclusion for them is your logistics chest, which are what your logistics robots are going to be using, have to be in the logistics zone. That's pretty self-explanatory based on what I explained last episode, but just in case it wasn't, that's what the chests need to be within that orange logistics zone to be able to be used for the logistics robots. Now, there are 5 different kind of chests at this point. There were 4 for a very long time, and they recently added another one, which is pretty cool. So let me just get this set up. And before you get logistics system, you do have access to 2 of them. You have access to your passive provider chest and your storage chest. Now these act fairly similar, but there are some distinct differences that are important to note. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with some stuff happening that you really don't want to happen. So let me just do this, and then we can go over it. Do that. Get some of these made. And I was just at the mall, and of course I didn't. I didn't get long-handed inserters. All right, so let's go like that. Put them in a pair. I'm just moving this guy. Oh wait, hold on. No, we're good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not sure why I'm hesitating. For some reason, it looked like I was missing one. Darn it. All right, come over here. And over here. And then this one, so these were in a pair. And then this guy here. And then the power poles, which should go kind of wrong how I was doing those. Oh well. It will just do this. I'm not going to be super finicky about how I do this, just so they look somewhat decent. And this is like entirely wrong. I don't know what I was doing there. Alright, let's get those like that. And were these lined up? Yeah, these were lined up with the inserters. So there we go. That should increase our output. The greens are just going to absolutely evaporate. We do have full belts, but like you can see how, I mean, these aren't ever going to get greens, I don't think. So this already needs to be red belt, which is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, so these chests. The passive providers and the storage chests act similarly. You can read the description. Makes its contents available for the logistics network and long-term storage for the logistics network. But those are very vague and not really that helpful, to be honest. So, well, they're both right, and I guess that is a very general, okay description. Both of these chests can be accessed by logistics bots in regards to... Okay, let's... No, that's true. I'm trying to think the best way to explain this. So let's start with the passive provider chest. This one can only ever be pulled out of by logistics robots, okay? It can never be inserted into by robots. You can, of course, insert into it manually or with inserters from a machine and such, but robots will never put anything into this, okay? This is only for robots to take from, okay? Whereas the storage chest is both ways. The storage chest, the robots can take from it and put into it, okay? So it's a big difference because, for example, if you have machines like in my mall, for example, if I wanted to have logistics chests where they output, which I will, I do not want to use storage chests, which may seem like what you want to use at first because, I mean, it's storage, you're storing items here, but it's not, because what will happen is, since robots can put into here, into a storage chest, the robots will then just start filling this with random junk that happens to go into your storage network. And what type of stuff would that be, or how does it even get there in the first place? Well, every time you put things in your trash slot, or you tear something up with construction robots with the deconstruction planner, they're going to take that stuff and they're going to put it into storage, i.e. the storage chests. So any of that type of stuff is going to go into storage chests. So this is why you do not want your machines outputting into storage chests, because then it's going to fill up with a ton of stuff you don't want in here. So when you output from machines, you either want it to go into a passive provider chest or a buffer chest. You could go into active provider chests. I'll explain the difference here in a second, but usually you don't want to. So we did finish this, which is awesome. I'm not going to do any more research at the moment. So let's go ahead. I'm going to grab a little steel because I think that's what we're lacking to do this. I'm going to make one of each. And the buffer chest, I'm hoping I can explain decently. I haven't actually used it much, and I don't know if I recall all of its qualities, but we'll do our best. So first off, I guess just in the order. So passive provider and storage. That's what I just went over. Now the active provider is identical to the passive one, except for one very key difference. And this can be very confusing. It confused the heck out of me. Oh, hey, missing inserters. Confused the heck out of me when I started playing, because I wasn't sure which one to use, and there were some things happening I didn't want to happen. So the active provider, right? What this does is it's more forceful in regards to it forces robots to pull out of it all the time. And what this means is that this passive provider, if I put a passive provider down like over this belt, which I am going to do, the robots will only take from this when there's actually a request somewhere for it, whether it be a requester chest requesting the belt somewhere, or it's me requesting them in my slots here. That's the only time they're ever going to take from this, or if there's a construction order like in a blueprint, right? Like here, if we have yellow belts in a passive provider chest, the robots will take from that there. But that's the only time they're going to pull from it. However, an active provider chest is always putting out an order to be emptied. So anything that goes in here is always going to be emptied if possible. Like if there's somewhere to put it, it's going to leave here and go into storage. And that's a big difference, because that's usually, again, why you don't want your machines outputting into active providers, because, you know, then they're just always going to be emptying it out into storage chests somewhere. Or I mean, they will fill requests from this as well. But if there are no requests, it's still just going to always have an order to pull anything out of this chest and put it in storage or wherever it can go. Now, when would you want to use these? There's not a ton of cases. A few things would be, you know, like if you have stuff on you and you don't want to wait for the bots to come to you, you can just dump everything in here. Like I could just dump this stuff in here, and if I had robots and storage, they would just come here and pick it up. I could put it in this one too, but it's always just going to stay in this chest, right? Unless something is requesting it. But this one will just instantly empty out from bots taking it into storage. There are other cases. Sometimes you may want to use it on your train deliveries, but it's a very specific use case, which we can go into later, but it's going to be too hard to explain right now. But typically you don't even want these on like train unloaders. But there are a few cases. I'll probably think of more like right when I finish this episode, so I'll cover them next episode. But if anyone in the comments has thoughts on good ways to use these as well, who's experienced, go ahead and leave them down there so newer players can read them. So those are those two chests. I already went over storage chests. Their storage, they can store anything the robots can take from them, but the robots will also put anything into them. However, you can now, of Factorio 016, which we're playing, you can now filter these if you want, which is very cool, because previously they'll just fill up, and if you don't filter it, they'll just fill up with all kind of stuff. But you can filter it to specific items. So now this one is only going to fit, like only blue belt can go in here, ever. So even though they're going to be dumping stuff in the storage, any blue belt, well, the blue belt may go somewhere else too. I don't think it forces it into here, but what this does mean is that nothing except blue belt will go into here. Okay, now we have a buffer chest and a requester chest. Let's start with the requester chest, because this is kind of a prelude to the buffer chest. So the requester chest is actually very straightforward. It just requests items, request specified items from the logistics network. So this guy is just going to request items based on requests that you set. So if you click on it, there's this little GUI here, and you can request whatever you want. You know, you can request, let's say we want belt, and then you just set the number here to whatever you want. And this is how much will be brought here by the robots from either storage, active providers, passive providers, normally. Now, if you check this box, it'll also request from buffer chests, which we'll get into in a second. But so it's very simple. This is like setting up like robot-based production, right? So if I want robots to bring iron and copper to my batteries, I'm going to have a requester chest requesting iron and copper in place of these chests that I've just been hand filling, and the robots will bring it up. Now, the robots will constantly try to fulfill this request until it's met within the chest. So if we're requesting 50 belt, they're going to bring 50 belt right now. If hypothetically, if I had robots and 50 belt in a network, they would bring 50. However, if it fills up, they're no longer going to be trying to bring belt to it until it drops below 50. So it's essentially saying fill it to this point and then only continue filling it once it drops below this point, and so fill it back up to there. So if this, say, had only 25 in it, they're only going to bring 25 belt to it to fulfill this 50 request. Okay. Now, buffer chests are interesting. Request items to be available for personal logistics and automated construction. So the other thing with this that's worth mentioning with these requester chests is, unlike provider chests or storage chests or buffer chests, robots can never take from these ever. So it's essentially the opposite of a passive provider chest, right? Robots can never bring to a passive provider chest. Well, robots can never take from a requester chest. It's going to request, and this is only for like insertion, right? For an inserter to take, or for you to take, because robots will never take from this. Okay, so that's a very important distinction, because then with the buffer chest, this acts as both, where you can request items in it, but it also is open to robots taking from it for personal use or construction. Okay, robots will not take from this, based on this description, in my understanding, the robots will not take from this for like production of things, right? So if say you have 100 belt in here, and you have a requester chest requesting 100 belt to make red belt, this is not going to fulfill this unless you check this box on the requester chest, right? On the specific requester chest you're requesting the belt from. So if I do this, he can now grab from here. Okay, but without checking this, it's not going to ever take from a buffer chest to a requester chest. So what this is used for is, like, if I'm requesting 100 belt, or I'm requesting any belt. If I'm requesting any belt, then it could pull from a buffer chest. Okay, and it also will pull from a buffer chest for construction. So like fulfilling the orders here to build this yellow belt, it'll pull from here. Now, why would you do this rather than just a passive provider? I haven't found a ton of uses for it. There are some that some people have done that they would probably be able to explain better than I could. But like, some things can be good because it can be good for, like, recycling items is something that it can be really good for. So for example, in this specific case, I would actually maybe want to use a buffer chest here, because what this will do is this will still allow the red belt to be brought to me, which is the primary reason I'm using it, or if there's construction orders using red belt. But I can also request red belt to it. In this way, if there's any red belt floating around in the storage system, because this will request from the storage system, and I think passive providers, I'm not sure if it does it from passive providers, but you know, if I trash some like red belt and it goes in the storage system, or somehow some ends up in there, this will request it back, and then it's in this one location rather than it being in, you know, however many storage chests in random places around the base. It will request it back here into here. Now, if you can do this even further, if like blue belt, if we were making blue belt, you know, like here for example, I could still have a request, and then this can recycle any red belt that's in the network and pull it back in to then be made into blue belt. Okay, and you can also use it for like potential like pass-throughs for multiple networks. So you could like do or like requesting like ammo on a far out border, like within your network, because you can request the ammo from this, and then, you know, maybe grab from it with inserters or something. You could do that with a requester chest. So there's some cases which, you know, again, if you have any thoughts and any ways you use these, definitely leave them down in the comments. But I think that's going to do it. That's a pretty, hopefully, decent overview of this. If it was confusing, I do apologize. And if you have any questions in regards to it, please let me know down below, and I will do my best to answer, and I'm sure people in the community will as well. But hopefully that kind of gives you a better understanding of how these chests work, and going forward, you know, my reasoning behind using them or not using them, and we're being attacked. This is a great time to pause and end the episode. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it helpful. Again, any questions, thoughts, leave down below. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.